Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the game room. Let's get right down to business. This episode's subject matter centers around OverBlood, released in May of 1997 for the American PlayStation. Ported over from the Japanese release of the same name, developer Riverhill Soft's creation is a wonderfully flawed, yet tragically fun romp. Fair warning, there will be unintentional spoilers for the game, but nothing that reveals the major plot points or the ending. Overblood's main focus surrounds the life of one Raz Carsey, a bearded chap who wakes up in a cryogenic tube unaware of who he is or where he is. The bigger problem being that the room is so cold he is literally freezing to death. This revelation then relinquishes control to the player, and it's here where Overblood's first layer of charm comes through. No tutorial, no guide, just figure it out and don't screw up. Oh yeah, and don't die. As Raz fumbles around the room looking for anything to keep him warm, he'll stumble across the two most important items in the first half of the game, a microchip and a voice recorder. That layer is what you use to save your progress in the game, while the former is used to jumpstart your first companion, Peepo. Overblood's second layer of charm is found here in Peepo. The little robot creates a wonderful dynamic between Raz, who doesn't know who he is, and his new robotic friend who can't explain anything to him. In terms of gameplay, Peepo acts as a counterbalance to Raz's amnesia. While our protagonist understands how to open doors and use levers, computers are mostly off limits to him. His new little buddy can activate terminals, control switchboxes, and enter smaller areas that Raz can't fit into. With the two having solved the temperature issue and unlocking the door, the new tag team begin to explore the apparently abandoned location they're imprisoned in. There is unexplained destruction found throughout the hallways, with several electrical issues found throughout. As players make their way through the corridors, it's discovered that people who should have been there have died from what looks like an infection. In attempting to learn more about the supposed virus, Raz comes face to face with another human survivor, Millie. Like Raz, she is unsure about her situation, and together they continue his journey. It's here where Overblood's puzzle elements go into full effect. Similar to games like Resident Evil, Overblood's take on the problem solution sequence is far more grounded in reality. Where Resident Evil would have you find shape-based keys to open a police door, here Raz just needs to find the right actual tool or item needed. A keycard for door access, a wrench to remove a vent cover, and so on. This helps keep the overall tone of the game grounded in its realistic minimalism. The real challenge comes in the problem you don't see: ammunition. At about the midway point, Raz and Millie come across a gun and keycard. This gun takes clips, but the clips are not visibly on screen. Like other games in the genre, you must click on various environmental objects to see if they're hiding anything. Furthermore, your height matters. If Raz says he sees something and you don't actually pick up anything, you'll need to bend down for him to physically retrieve it. Most of the clips are in bizarre locations like computer bank terminals and the Arboretum's wall. These bullet clips play a very important role in how you finish the game. What makes Overblood's gameplay fun is that there are at most 5 or 6 enemies total in the entire game that you need to fight, and they can be dealt with fists. Once you reach the final moments, however, you'll need to not only be able to go mano-a-mano with the first opponent, after that you'll need to unload every bullet you have into the final rival, and even then, you still need to get creative. Something that I have always loved about Overblood is the music and the atmosphere, or at least the lack of it. The sound team lets the structure's empty halls and Raz's loneliness take center ambience. By keeping the music to a minimum, needed only when a story element is played out, Riverhill lets the player soak in their character's situation. This bleakness is beautifully balanced by Raz's interactions with Peepo and Millie, trading the former's comedic pairing with the human's more serious discussions. The voice acting is wonderfully cheesy, mostly due to the script, but there is a shocking revelation in the credits. Frank Welker, the man who voiced damn near everything and everyone, including Megatron himself, is the voice of Peepo. Peepo doesn't talk, he just peeps. Ironically, he's also the most emotional character in the entire game. Go figure. All that's left to critique is the game's controls, which is where things slightly fall apart. Unlike other games in this format, Overblood uses the full 3D environments that shift the camera along with it as you move. Raz uses the tank controls, where up is forward and down is backward, so trying to traverse certain rooms will create a camera shift that if you try and compensate, will actually have you traveling back the way you came. Visually, for originally coming out in 1996 in Japan, the game holds up in a simple way. The textures are clean, the rooms are large enough to not keep getting caught on obstacles, and the structure holds up well design-wise. Many games in this genre will have ridiculously complex and poorly designed levels from a reality standpoint, but here everything seems plausible. More concerning are the clipping borders, or specifically the lack of them. Riverhill made sure that this was strictly about survival, and in doing so provide thin catwalks, destroyed bridges, and improvised platforms that offer no room for error. One missed pixel and Raz plummets to his untimely death, which brings up a very, nay, extremely important fact about that voice recorder I talked about earlier. Pausing and using it to save is absolutely the only way to save your progress. There are no continues. You either start a new game or you load your save. If you spend an hour solving a puzzle and accidentally walk off a girder, you get to replay that entire hour all over again if you hadn't saved. If you just thought, oh man, I better save often, you would be absolutely correct, but here's a deeper and more important angle to realize. Like needing ink ribbons in Resident Evil, the tape recorder acts as the game's difficulty. Sure, you could take it and save yourself a lot of grief, but if you don't take it, you get one health bar to make it out alive, with instant pit deaths around random corners to count as well. It makes for a fantastic streaming game, especially if you want to speedrun through it, with or without a net. With this review being based on my 4th and 5th playthrough of the game, my average time is about 2.5 hours of gameplay. The catch being that I knew where everything was going in. Speedrunners have been able to finish it in just over an hour, which is incredible considering some of the tasks needed to be completed. First run-throughs will probably rank in about the 4 to 5 hour mark, if not slightly less. 24 years after its release, OverBlood still holds a special place in my heart. It's an interesting but flawed study in loneliness and simplicity, focusing more on the experience rather than a true challenge, final boss aside. With the game averaging about $20 shipped on eBay, it's essentially like buying the DVD of a favorite B movie. Sure, you can play that AAA game or whatever everyone else is playing, but sometimes you just want to enjoy something by yourself, even if it means your on-screen persona shares the same solitude. On Game-Rave's review scale, it gets a solid 7 out of 10. Alright guys, that does it for this episode. It felt so nice to have the week off last week. A lot of cool things going on. I'm back full-time my job-wise, so all the time I thought I was going to have in quarantine disappeared, but I will gladly take my work paycheck over the extra time. We are adding more and more pages to GameRave.com. That being said, guys, have a great week. Take care. Be safe. Wash your hands. I'll see you next episode. Take care.